What is up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to get hit with the truth. So, today doing the preview for the DAZN card that's taking place Saturday, September 4th. And actually a pretty good card from the United Kingdom. Probably take place around the middle of the day, so if you're not doing anything around lunchtime on West Coast time, excuse me, tune in and check it out. You know, I mean, I think it's a quality card either way. I don't really talk about the women's fights, but Katie Taylor's defending her belts on the undercard. I believe she's a co-feature. I'm going to talk about two of the other fights, though, starting with, well, we all know the main event is Mauricio Lara versus Josh Warrington, the rematch. We'll get into that in a few minutes at featherweight. But we're going to go into the undercard fight that I think is the most intriguing of all the undercard fights, and that is undefeated welterweight prospect on the rise, Connor Benn, is taking on Adrian Granados, veteran tough guy. You know, this is a very interesting matchup right here. You got Connor Benn, undefeated. He's beaten C and D level welterweights up to this point. His biggest win, Sebastian Formella, and then knocked out Samuel Vargas in one round, you know. So he's heading into this one against the veteran Adrian Granados, who is Mr. You know, lose a lot of close decisions. But the last time we saw Adrian Granados in a big fight, it was another close decision loss to Robert Easter when he returned to 140 pounds and fought Robert Easter, who was making his debut at 140. Now, this fight's taking place at 147, so Connor Benn automatically has an advantage in terms of size because Adrian Granados can make welterweight. He fought at welterweight for a couple of years there, but, you know, he lost fights to Sean Porter. He got knocked out against Danny Garcia. 140's always been his better weight, but coming in against the undefeated Connor Benn, can Granados, you know, upset the apple cart here? Can he stop Connor Benn? Can he pull off the upset? Always a possibility with Granados. Granados is tough as hell. You know, the dude always comes to fight. But I really think Connor Benn's young and ready to go, and this guy is, you know, I think this is a huge test for him at this point in his career, and I think he's going to pass it. I think he's going to go to 19-0, and I think he's going to stop Adrian Granados middle to later rounds and keep moving forward towards, you know, getting into the conversation of the biggest division in boxing. So we'll see what happens. But Connor Benn versus Adrian Granados, that's going to be good. That's a welterweight fight. The main event, though, Mauricio Lara versus Josh Warrington 2, rematching from their February showdown that saw the former champ Josh Warrington get destroyed against the unheralded Mauricio Lara. Lara came out of nowhere, not a known name, and he absolutely beat Josh Warrington down in that fight. Warrington, I had him number 2, and you could make arguments for him as the top featherweight in the business. He gave up his belt prior to the IBF title, so he didn't want to make a mandatory against Kid Galahad in a rematch, so he gave up his belt and went after you know, decided to stay busy as he was planning on going after another world title, you know, against Shu Kan of China. But he had to get through Lara, and I think he was overlooking Lara, but I also think Lara is good. And Lara just put a pounding on him. I watched that fight. The punches that Lara was landing, they were thudding hard shots. And he absolutely beat down Josh Warrington. And it was a sad sight seeing Josh Warrington just laid fully out in the center of the ring as Lara won by knockout in the 9th round. But Warrington, 7 months later, wants to redeem himself, and Lara wants to leave no doubt. So this is a big-time featherweight matchup right here. I currently got Lara number 2 following that win, and I got Josh Warrington number 4 right now. If Warrington redeems that loss, probably moves up to number 3, maybe claims the number 2 spot back. You know, ahead of Kid Galahad, but we got to see. But this is a big-time fight, and if Lara beats Warrington and leaves no doubt, he's going to claim the #2 spot for sure. And you know what? We don't know if Gary Russell's staying at featherweight or moving up or what the hell he's doing. He definitely hasn't fought in over a year and a half, so you can make the argument that the winner of this fight has claimed to the top spot at 126 pounds, which is still a wide open division. So this is a big fight right here. For Lara, again, it's to leave no doubt, to prove he is that good and he is better than Josh Warrington, and he belongs, you know, at the top of the featherweight division, that he's legit. And for Warrington, this is make or break right here. This is do or die. This is his crossroads right here. If he loses this fight, that might be all she wrote. You know, it's either that or move up and wait and make another run. But if he gets beat again, it's going to be a long road back for Josh Warrington. Now, my prediction on the fight. Sorry to say, I was a fan of Josh Warrington. I am a fan of Josh Warrington. But the beating he took in February was bad. And I don't think it was a fluke. He's a light puncher. I think he's going to get in there, and his style is going to be to mix it up with Lara. That's just his style. But he's a light puncher. He's not a hard puncher, and I don't think he's going to be able to keep Lara from landing shots back on him. Even if he's beating Lara to the punch, I don't know if he's going to be effective to stay away from those studding shots that Lara landed in their first fight. I think Lara's he might be able to do it again. If anything, I think Lara's going to win a convincing decision in this one. But I think he can stop Lara in the late. I think he can stop Warrington in the late rounds. And I think he's going to repeat himself and leave no doubt that he's the better man. I wouldn't be surprised if Warrington pulls off the upset in this one, or if you want to call it an upset. I wouldn't be surprised if he beats Lara. If he comes back and proves that he is, you know, the better fighter. But I think if he does that, it's going to be a tough night. I don't think it's going to be an easy win for Warrington. I think the best he's going to do is a somewhat close but convincing decision. But I think Warrington winning this fight, it's going to be a close fight. And he might get out of there with a split majority or a majority decision in a tight one. He might be able to outwork Lara, but I just think the effects from that last fight are going to linger into this fight. And I think Mauricio Lara is going to win again and leave no doubt. So we'll see what happens. It's a big fight for the featherweight division. Saturday, September 4th on DAZN. You don't want to miss it. It's taking place in the middle of the day. Turn it on around 11, 12 o'clock. That's when the undercard will be rolling. And I'm sure we're going to see the main event probably around 2 or 3. So that's it. That's the preview for the Mauricio Lara, Josh Warrington rematch and the Connor Benn versus Adrian Granados welterweight showdown. I hope you guys enjoyed it. True Boxing, you've been hit with the truth.